Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney, and I'm here with a little bit of a chattier video today, and a very exciting announcement. So the exciting announcement, you're going to have to wait till the end of the video to catch that. But today's also the last day that I am reporting remotely. I'll be back in my sewing room for Friday's video. So yes, I will be back. I just want to remind you guys, before we get started, to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Sometimes we think we've hit it and we haven't. I just don't want you to miss anything. I do have a lot of really fun and exciting things happening from now until, once I get back, until the end of the year. So hitting that subscribe button, you're absolutely going to make sure you don't miss anything. Also, our newsletter. We have some really exciting things that are going to be coming out in our newsletter between now and the end of the year. I will leave a link down to that below. We send out weekly emails, and they're fun. They're not very long. They're fun. So anyway, click on over there too if you would like to be a part of that email list. And often we have discounts and stuff that only go out to our newsletter subscribers. So whether that be classes or all sorts of stuff. So a lot of good information comes out there, and I'll leave that link down below. Okay, today we're going to talk about sewing. And at the risk of my title sounding overly dramatic on how it changed my life, honestly, I'm gonna stick with that and say that sewing has changed my life, and for the better. So I want to talk a little bit about that. One of the reasons that I do Tomcat Stitchery, the reason I started it, the reason that I do the digital classes, the reason that I love engaging online, in my pattern fitting community, all of that stuff, is that I am not only passionate about the skill of sewing and the hobby of sewing, but I'm also really passionate with sharing that with others because it has been so influential in my life. So if this is something that anyone else is searching for and they feel overwhelmed, or that that it's too much, that they just aren't good at sewing, that they just were never, weren't born with that skill set, I am here to tell you that it is, anyone can learn it. Anyone can learn how to sew if you have not even necessarily a passion, but a curiosity to learn to sew. So that is what we're going to be talking about. So if sewing is something that has been on the back of your mind a little bit, or maybe you have a friend or a family member that sews, and you've just been a little bit curious, but they have no interest in teaching you, let me. Let me. But I just want to talk a little bit about the hobby of sewing. So just to kind of go back to the roots, I am a firm believer that we were all created by the ultimate creator and in his image, and that we were all created to be creative. So this could be a whole host of things. This doesn't have to just be sewing. This doesn't have to be that you do art or paint or draw. No, creative outlets can be cooking. They can be working in a garden. They can be writing. They can be, all sorts of things. It's literally just the act of creating something out of something else. So woodworking, a whole host of things. But I'm a firm believer that everyone should have some sort of interest or hobby that is creating something, whatever that might be. And for me, that has been obviously sewing and other things as well. Honestly, it's the creation of it's textiles for me. But I think that it is important to kind of search out and find out what your thing is. I encourage this in my children. My daughter she is an artist, so creativity is a big part of her life. But my son is very analytical. He is on the engineering track, and that's the way his brain works. But I've really encouraged him to kind of think outside that realm and ways that he would like to create. And his has kind of turned more a little towards woodworking and doing some stuff with woodworking. So I really think there's something out there for everyone, and finding what your thing is important. But I stumbled upon sewing in 2006. A lot of people think that, I must have grown up learning to sew or whatever. No, that's not the case. I was 26 years old and now you know how old I am because I was 26 in 2006, 26 years old, and I was pregnant with my boy-girl twins. And I'd been searching for a creative outlet for a while. I had tried quite a few different things. I had tried knitting quite a few different, and picked it up and put it back down. This was back in the card making, scrapbooking days. I dabbled in that a little bit, just always searching for something. I knew there was something that I wanted to do as a creative outlet. My background at the time was in finance and accounting, and which is a very analytical field. Anyway, and I just on a whim, I could not find gender neutral baby bedding that wasn't beige at this time. So I told my mom, who had a very basic knowledge of sewing, let's just make it. She's like, okay. So I got a sewing machine for my birthday, and I actually unearthed that picture of me opening it up. I was not even showing yet, but I knew I was pregnant, and I knew that it was twins at this point because my numbers had spiked, but I was very sick. So anyway, it's my birthday, and I'm opening up a sewing machine that my parents had gotten me for my birthday. And that was really the catalyst. And once I delved into that, I mean, I also had like twins at this time, and they were newborns and that sort of thing. So I can't even really remember how I wedged sewing into my life, because I don't really remember those first like few years very well because I was in survival mode for so long, having twins that were so young. But I messed around in my basement with the sewing machine. We made the bedding. It turned out great. I'm sure if I took a good look at it, I still have it, but if I took a good look at it, I would probably see all sorts of little things where we messed up. But that's okay. That's all the part of it. But I did a lot of like home deck sewing. I checked out books from the library, very self-taught. This was before YouTube. So very self-taught, very much, digging into different craft books. But the sewing, was starting to have a resurgence at this time. So like some quilting stores were popping up around me. This was not quite, Colette, which is now Seamwork, her book that Sari put out, but I don't think that was until 2011, was kind of the catalyst for garment sewing. But anyway, I delved in. I figured out how to read a pattern. I made garments or Halloween costumes for my kids when they were younger and all that kind of stuff. And I was really hooked. When we moved to Indianapolis in 2011, that's when I decided to take a actual garment sewing class to figure out how to make clothes for myself, not just Halloween costumes, but how to make clothes for myself. That is where I met my mentor, Joyce. She had been a professional dressmaker at that time for 43 years, and our brains clicked. She reached out to me. You guys have probably heard this. Reached out to me after the class, said, hey, I am downsizing and I'm probably in the last few years before retirement, but would you be interested in apprenticing with me? Absolutely. I love to learn. This was right up my alley. I apprenticed with her for a few years. And then when she retired and sold her business, I went with it and worked in a bridal workroom. It was alterations, custom sewing for mostly bridal, but also other garments as well. And that's where between working with Joyce and then working in this workroom where I really, baptism by fire, learned how garments were created, how fabric played a part. I had an intent, like a master's program of learning sewing and garment sewing and construction in that. Probably, how many years? Like 6 years, probably 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there years. I'd have to do the math. And then started the YouTube channel. So how sewing has changed my life. So many different things. Right now, I'm currently in my parents' basement. I had to do a trip out here. Again, everyone's fine. But I did have to make a kind of a short notice trip out here to help out. And one of the things that I'm missing very much right now, for a few reasons. Number one, it's a very chaotic time in my life right now. I have got those twins where I learned to sew are now seniors in high school. And we are college shopping right now, having that going on, me having to take a trip out here. A ton of stuff happening in life right now. And sewing is absolutely my key to great mental health. So being able to shut down a little bit and go into complete creative mode in my sewing room is very important. And I have not had a chance to do that just because we were traveling a ton, visiting colleges, and now I am here 500 miles away from home for my sewing machines. And I just haven't had a chance to do that. And I really do feel the effects. So that is the one thing, having a creative hobby, because it puts you outside of your norm and makes you think about things a little bit different. You're out of your routine a little bit. It just helps me pull myself out of my own head. I'm able to listen to just an audiobook or turn on mindless television in the background and create something, do some problem solving, something that has nothing to do with the outside world. And that is, again, that's really where my mental health has improved. And, just in all aspects of life, we all lead very busy, stressful lives, and having something, an outlet in order to keep ourselves grounded is very important. And that is what sewing has been for me. So that is one aspect of how sewing has changed my life. Another aspect of how sewing has changed my life is that I wouldn't say that I'm like horribly hard to fit, but I am definitely not the standard body size for what is out there and ready to wear. I am short with a short torso and longer legs and a very full bust. I've been built like this my entire, since puberty, basically. And it's made it hard to shop for the clothes that I want to shop for. I love fashion, but my body shape really limited me on the type of things that I could buy and wear. For instance, I always wanted to be able to wear a button-up shirt, and I've talked about this on the channel too. Never could, because in order for a button-up shirt to fit across my bust, the shoulders, it looked awful because it was way oversized on me. And a lot of times that was not the look I was going for. Blazers, that sort of thing, not my friend. Knit fabrics help because things will stretch. But I wanted to wear like beautiful silk blouses or, even like rayon blouses and stuff like that you would find in stores. And that just was never in the cards for me. Pants are a little bit, pants are not a hard thing to fit on me. They never really have been, other than length. I am not a petite in pants, but I'm also not a regular. I'm right in between. So knowing how to sew and hem my own pants has been huge. Because petite pants are too short and regular pants are too long. I need like right in between the two. So being able to fit my own body and being able to create clothing that really speaks to my own style has been just huge. Now, I still buy some ready to wear. In fact, this is a ready to wear cardigan. It's a knit cardigan, but I don't make everything. I make about 90% of my closet. Occasionally I buy jeans, like in stores, just because I can't easily recreate the wash that maybe I'm looking for in a pair of jeans. I make jeans. In fact, I've got jeans I've made that are in a regular rotation in my closet as well. But if I'm looking for something a little different wash, it's just a little easier. It's easier to buy. And again, I'm not hard to fit other than him. When it comes to pants, it's really my upper body where I've struggled. This also carried over into swimwear, just being confident and being able to wear a swimsuit that I didn't feel like, especially when I was younger, I felt like I had to wear swimsuits that were way older than I was. I wanted to wear I wanted to wear the cute bikinis that the girls my age were wearing, but my chest was so large, I looked like a stripper in all of the swimsuits. And then I'm very straight through the hips, so finding bottom, I needed the separate sizes. And at that time when I was a teenager, they sold bikinis as a set. It was not very readily available to buy a different size bottom than top. That is not the case anymore, nor do I wear bikinis anymore. But that's beside the point. So a lot of areas in life where I had body image issues, like all of us, thinking that there was something wrong with me because I couldn't wear the clothes that I wanted to wear. Not the case. It was the clothes, not me. So just that alone and giving me a better body image and being able to express myself the way that I want to express myself has been life-changing, because that affects the way that I interact with everyone else in my life. I know that fashion feels like fluff, but honestly, when I feel good, even when I don't feel good, when I'm feeling yucky, when I'm feeling in a depressed slump, or I'm sick or anything else, putting on an outfit that I feel good in really does help to turn that around. And, it's a huge catalyst in, again, like I said, not only my mental health and being able to create, but also in what I'm wearing and how I'm presenting myself to the world. So when I'm feeling better about myself, I'm kinder to those around me. I'm more confident, I'm more outgoing, and which are really more my personality, and being able to fully realize it's been huge. And that is how sewing has really made an impact on my life. And in recent years, I've gotten really into color theory and dressing in my color palette. That has made a huge difference. But to no surprise to anyone, and this is for anyone, even though you have some colors that you really like yourself in, if that's not the season's it colors, good luck finding that in stores. So just being able to, if I want an orange red t-shirt, I can just make one instead of relying on what I can find in the stores. And maybe all the reds I'm finding are burgundies or cooler reds that don't do anything for me, make me look like I've got dark bags under my eyes. Whereas the clearer tomato red lights up my face, makes my eyes bright, everything else. So I have found that very interesting, and being able to make whatever I want and still sticking with trends if I want to, but then being able to interpret that into colors that I want to wear or prints that I want to wear has just been absolutely huge. I am not beholden to what is available in regular clothing stores. I can do whatever I want. And that is the beauty of sewing. So on that is kind of how sewing has changed my life, why I'm passionate about not only sharing inspiration here on YouTube, but also the teaching aspect of it. And the big announcement is that Jenni and I have released, as of today, a free class. Now, if you have looked, we have a few different levels of classes that we offer on our website, paid classes, but and a few different categories. Like we have, some mini courses that are in the $39 range, some more project-based courses and that sort of thing that are in the $97 range. And then I do have my pattern fitting master course that I offer twice a year because there's a live component that goes with that one. That's the only one that has a live component. Although you still have access to everything. You have access to all these classes for as long as I'm, in business. It's still running. We're still kicking. As long as that's happening, you have absolute access. And I would also never, if there was ever a time where I'm closing my doors, I would absolutely give everyone the option of downloading all that stuff. I would never just take away any of that without proper notification, just so we're clear. But we have a first free class. So if you've ever been curious about my classes, how the site kind of works, how the platform where we host these classes works, this is a great time to grab that. It is all on my tips, my essential tips for sewing. So if you are someone that is looking into sewing, if you are curious about sewing, this is a great free class to grab. In a few weeks, we will be releasing our Intro to Garment Sewing paid class. So this was kind of a precursor to that, and we are working very hard behind the scenes. Again, life's been a little chaotic, but it's close. The class is getting close, so the paid one. But I did want to just give this all to you. So even if you've been sewing for 60 years, but you're just curious on what my digital classes kind of look like, you can go grab and try that free class out as much, grab it. Then it's in your library, your personal library. You can watch it as many times as you want, all that thing. So you can share this to anyone because it's a free class to come over and grab this too. So anyway, these are my, so the name of the class is Tips to Get Started Sewing. So again, whether you've been sewing forever and these aren't really tips you need, or you're someone that's kind of looking, well, this is tips to get started sewing, period. It is have more of a garment bend to it because obviously that is the type of sewing that I do. So anyway, go have a look at this free class, and that is linked down below. And let us know. Let us know what you think. Okay, guys, that is all I have for today. I hope you are having a wonderful Tuesday, and I will be back in the sewing room again on Friday. Cannot wait to see you there. And yeah, we're going to get back into sewing. All right. I hope you guys have a good Tuesday. Have a great week. Get some sewing in. Do it for me. And I will see you guys again next time.